What's up guys, Nimbus Reviews here, back with another One Piece video. Today I just wanted to go over and discuss a few things we learned from chapter 1033 and talk about some stuff Oda might be hinting at. So let's not waste any more time and hop right into the discussion. First, I'd like to talk about the supposed cursed sword and how exactly Enma worked. A lot of people theorize that Enma was a cursed sword and Oda just decided not to mention it for some reason, and this chapter basically confirms that it could in fact be considered a cursed sword depending on the situation. Kozaburo tells Zoro that only weak people claim a sword is cursed, because to him, a blade is made with the purpose to kill as many people as possible. So a blade that wants to do that is just a sign of a great craftsman. And Tengu Yama kind of confirms this, because when he was talking to Zoro about the Sandai Katetsu, he said it's the cursed sword because weak people can't handle it. So like I said, we can clearly see this in Sandai Katetsu, and presumably the second and first Katetsu, as well as Enma. And now that I think about it, we can even see in the Shusui, because Zoro noted that it was a little bit heavier and it boosted his attack power, making it better at killing. Kozaburo does however mention that swords have their own personality, and that a swordsman has to conquer and bend the sword's will to their own. We first saw this from Sandai Katetsu because it did give Zoro trouble at first, cutting more than he wanted, and then we can see that to an extreme with Enma because it wants a large amount of haki constantly flowing through it, possibly even preferring Conqueror's haki as some people have theorized. And we are able to see with some named swords like Yubashiri, which is a sword Zoro got from Ippon Matsu for free after he did the whole test with Sandai Katetsu, as well as Wado Ichimonji, which was Zoro's sword that he got from Kuina. But with those two swords, we can see that not all blades that are well crafted have a personality like Hitetsu or Enma, as they were never known to give Zoro trouble, and this could be because they had chosen Zoro as their master right from the beginning instead of having to earn their respect. So all of that basically debunks the existence of cursed swords and tells us that what the weak see as cursed swords are in actuality just great swords that have yet to find a swordsman that they deem worthy to be their master, as a sword without a master will act on their own will alone in the same way that Sandai Katetsu did before Zoro reeled it in. And this leads me into my next point, in which I think Oda has been hinting at how a black blade is forged. One thing we know for a fact is a black blade is forged through constant battle as stated by Onimaru in chapter 937. After telling this to Zoro, Onimaru asks him if he only cares about his own desires. Now at the time, I just assumed Onimaru was just talking about Zoro wanting to keep a blade that isn't his. But with what we have learned about the will and personality of swords, I think it might actually tie into what is needed to forge a black blade. I find it strange that although Odin fought constantly with Enma and gave it what it wanted, he was not able to make it a black blade. Realizing this made me try to come up with reasons for why he couldn't, and this is my conclusion. To become a black blade, a sword must have a long history of battle where the user is imbuing it with armament haki. The swordsman must consider what the sword wants, the sword must choose and accept the swordsman as its master, and lastly, the swordsman must be able to bend the sword's will to their own. I also thought that maybe imbuing it with Conqueror's haki may be a key to it instead of just regular armament haki, but for now we'll just focus on the four that I named. The only one out of the four that I could imagine Odin not fulfilling is Enma choosing him as his master, and this is why Hitetsu said depending on Zoro, he might be able to forge Enma into a black blade in chapter 955. Now, do I think Zoro will forge Enma into a black blade? Yes, eventually. Like Zoro said, Enma chose him, likely due to his lineage and possessing another sword from the same swordsmith, whereas Odin was probably given Enma as well as Ame no Habakiri at a young age because he was the shogun's son, and at the time, Shimosuke Kozaburo was the best swordscraft in Wano Kuni. I bring this up to say that I don't think those two swords chose him, and Enma having the personality that it does would not conform to Odin's will unless itself chose Odin as its master. We're not sure about Ame no Habakiri because we haven't even seen it unsheathed by anyone aside from Odin, so I'll leave that one up for debate. But with Enma, I definitely don't think he chose Odin as his master. Now that Zoro knows what Enma wants, he will be able to give it and pass Enma's test, allowing him to bend its will to his own, making it now 3 of the 4 requirements met. If the time Odin spent with Enma counts as a long history of battle, then I think we can expect Zoro to forge Enma into a black blade. But if he has to start his history of battle with Enma now, then I doubt we will see it become a black blade within the time of the story. Now what I think is more likely is that Zoro forges the Wado Ichimonji into a black blade, as it seems to have chosen him as his master. He has bended its will to his own, and they most likely have a will similar to each other anyways, because both of them would want Zoro to accomplish his dream for both Kuina and Luffy, as well as it being the sword he's had the longest, which in turn would upgrade it from an Owazamono grade sword to a Saijo Owazamono grade red sword, because Hitetsu also alluded that making a sword a black blade will raise its rank in chapter 955. Well guys, this video was turning out longer than I thought it would be, so I'm going to separate the other topics that I had for this video into their own separate videos, so please expect videos on the Haki blooming and kingly ambition soon, as well as a reaction style video on the new chapter when it comes out. So if you're looking forward to that, subscribe so you can see it in your subscription feed, as well as leave a like and comment your thoughts on my theory and what your theory on black blades and cursed swords are. And also do keep in mind that this is a theory and these are just my thoughts, because all of this stuff hasn't been stated in the story yet. I'm just drawing conclusions from what we do know. But with that being said guys, until the next video, later.